Hey, Shalom, Sister Kate here with
Pastor Joe Fox
and one of the Ridgebacks. So, I've had a couple videos lately talking about SHDF and also radio shows that I listen to because I've been doing a lot of traveling the last week. We're in a cold area now, as you can tell, the way we're dressed, and it's very sunny, so that's why I'm wearing the sunglasses. I'm not trying to be tactical. I'm just trying to keep the sun out of my eyes. Oh man, it just... I'm back. I want to talk to you about something I heard on the radio again. And it was a mainstream Christian radio show on a mainstream Christian channel. And you'll forgive me if I don't remember the exact radio station. I just remember it was pretty big. Well, actually, there were two radio stations that are germane to this video. One of them was an evening one, and there was a guy, his last name was Meyer, and another guy whose last name was Kennedy, and then the host. And they were talking about the biblical proofs for what's happening in the Bible. And they talked about what I've talked about many times about Emmanuel Velikovsky's idea in his book, Ages of Chaos.
But they didn't give him credit, right?
They never give him credit, which makes me wonder if they actually do research, even though the one guy was a doctorate, but his doctorate was in archaeology. That the historical timeline for the Egyptians and the Egyptologists is off by like at least 250 years, and there's been at least one and I think two documentaries where guys nowadays figure this out. I don't know where they figure it out, but they do. And then they do a documentary about it, and I watched both of them, and I agree 100%, but that's not an original thought. Like I said, Emmanuel Velikovsky said that like in the late 20s, and he has a book out on it. Anyway, these gentlemen were talking about that on a mainstream Christian show. It was a Sunday night, about 6 or 7 o'clock, and everything they said, I have said in my videos, and I have researched and seen myself. So one, that tells me I think and research and reason on a doctorate level.
Doctoral level.
Doctoral level.
Dr. Kate.
Without the paperwork. But also that what I see and have seen is not just my imagination. If mainstream archaeologists are seeing these things, then it establishes it as fact, as truth. And there are, other books. These gentlemen didn't talk about them, but Haley's book of the, Bible proofs or whatever is one that's been around a long time. And there's the Bible Archaeology Review magazine that I talk about. That's an online thing, but there's lots of people there posting articles and doing archaeology that is the facts behind what's presented in the Bible. Because for the longest time, the Bible was considered like fantasy. Interesting stories, no basis in proof, when there's tons of archaeological evidence for it. So that was one of the radio shows I listened to. And then the other one was just a mainstream Christian show. I can't even remember what they were discussing. It was an older gentleman and a younger gentleman, and I don't remember if it was marriage or what. But then there was a commercial right in the middle of their show about a congregation in Florida called Seat of Abraham. And the congregation is a Hebrew roots body out there, and basically the commercial was saying, we're out here, anyone's welcome to come. We have a website, we have free teachings for anyone who wants to look at it, and we believe that the Hebrew roots of the Bible needs to be studied in order to understand the entire Bible. And they did mention, the Bible is one book. It all makes sense. It all goes together, which is something Pastor and I have been saying for a long time. And they mentioned their website, and we have Torah lessons there, and so on and so on. And they also mentioned in the commercial that once you find out the truth of the roots of the Bible and the Hebraic context of it, and then you learn that much more about that book because of the background that you now know, it's like learning it for the first time. It's just amazing. You feel born again, etc. You're all excited. All of which we agree with. And again, in the mouth of two or three is a thing established. And we're not the only ones who've been saying these things about Torah and the Bible either. We just happen to come upon it at a time when other people had come upon it. And there have been people who had this belief since the late 60s and even farther back. And little bits of it too, the Seventh-day Adventists. So that was kind of a added boy, because I was shocked that the one show allowed that commercial on it.
Yeah.
Because when Pastor first came to Torah and our congregation rejected Sabbath and didn't want to follow us anymore and thought we'd lost our minds,
Have a loving mind.
Right?
Bless their little heart.
Bless their little Christian hearts. We were those people too, though, so we can't really slam.
I was saying them talking about us. Bless our little hearts.
Yeah, bless our little hearts.
It's
too.
like a Christian way to tell somebody that.
Right, that we don't want to follow you anymore. A person local to where we were living at the time, a pastor of a pretty big congregation whose whole ministry was about money and programs to do money and talk about money and donate money to the church and who's going to, buy this thing
More
from
money,
us.
more money, more money.
Excuse me. That church's pastor had a radio show, and probably still does, and he specifically said in his radio show that this Hebrew roots movement that we're seeing at the edges of Christianity is evil and wicked and don't have anything to do with it.
Because it takes his money.
Because it takes his congregation away, and it's going to open their eyes to the lies that he's been telling them. And that's a really good way to test your own pastor. Does he give sermons from the Word? And what are his sermons about? Do they conform to the teachings that God and his prophets and his leaders and his Messiah, Jesus, taught? And it's really amazing how much, once you start looking through those lenses at pastors nowadays, how many pastors are putting out propaganda, who are trying to milk money out of their congregations,
Fleece the sheep.
who are fleecing the sheep, who don't care about your salvation, who just sell you a lie. There's so many of them, but that's not even the point of the video. The point of the video is, I think Torah is becoming mainstream, and it should. If you follow the thought process that what would Jesus do?
You wouldn't need a ham sandwich.
And you actually start looking at the teachings that are given in that book, and you get away from 2,000 years of disinformation and what do they call it? Congregational traditions. There's 30,000 congregations in the world. Well, there should be just one congregation and flavor of
Denomination, I think.
denomination. That's right. Denomination. There should just be one denomination. And there is only one denomination if you look at the Bible truthfully at what it's saying. Because God does not say, I'm wide open to everything in the world. That's what Christianity teaches. That's what the world wants to teach, is that God is a benevolent, loving, person who just wants everybody to do whatever they want to do, and he still loves you and all that, and that's just not true. The God of the Bible is very specific about his guidelines, the behavior he expects from his people, and the proper way to worship and honor him. And it's not this wide, it's this wide, straight and narrow. And so there's a whole lot of people out there deluding themselves, but I like the fact that Torah is going mainstream. I like the fact that whatever Christian channel I was listening to allowed a Hebrew Roots Movement church to have their advertisement on there. And the other thing we see is because sometimes we listen to, Christian channels and what pastors are putting down what word. And normally we can only listen for about 5 minutes, and we're like, oh my gosh, he doesn't know his word, he doesn't know his Bible, and he's leading his sheep astray, and we have to turn it off. But it's good to see, careful, Pastor, even those guys, some of them are hitting on bits of truth, because they will talk about obedience, and they will talk about, walking your faith, and so on. So I think Torah is becoming more mainstream. I mean, use whatever phrase you want to use, Hebrew roots, etc. I think that's important. I think it's really essential to anyone who follows the Bible that you follow the Bible. Not the denomination, not your pastor, not Judaism, because Judaism is not specifically biblical either. There's a lot of stuff in Judaism that's not in the Bible.
The main part.
Because the Father is very plain in there. And he even says it in the Word. Like, this thing is not too high that we can't reach it. And it's not too weird and hidden that you cannot understand it. You can. Just read it. Anyway, it gives me some hope. I'm glad to see that out there. All right. Bless you. Thanks for listening. Shalom.